Hey, welcome. This is Michael Van Horn, the Social Chef. Tonight I'm going to be making one of my favorite dishes. This is a dish that I learned when I very first started cooking. Friends of mine that owned the Villa Varela, if you read on my blog and how I kind of got started in cooking, they taught me this dish. And I absolutely love Osso Bucco. It's a veal shank. It takes a couple hours, so I need to get it going. I have some friends coming over, so I want to get this started. Now, one of the key ingredients here is to get a really good veal shank. Sometimes it's kind of fatty. I get mine at a local butcher. It's an Italian specialty shop right down the road from me, and Doris is the best. That's one of the best places around here to get meat. So tonight I'm going to be making this Osso Bucco. And one of the things that you're going to do here is going to season a little bit with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just lightly coat it in flour, and then I'm going to sear it over here on my pan, and then I'm going to bake it for a couple hours. And there's a lot of things that go into it. We have some garlic, carrots, celery, it's all going to be chopped kind of coarse. Tomatoes, I'm going to use plum tomatoes, Italian tomatoes. I'm going to chop them up a little bit, and then when the whole dish is just about done, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to take the veal shank out, and I'm going to puree about 50 to 60% of my stock. And then I'll put it back in, let it cook just for a little bit, and then I'm going to serve it. And some onion in here, some garlic, as I said before, and a veal stock, which is really important. You want to use a veal stock. So I'm going to get started here. Just, like I said before, I'm going to come in, just season it a little bit with a little bit of salt and pepper. And Bailey's over here chomping at the bit to say hi. Bailey, you want to say hi to everybody? My sous chef. The best. So I'll come in here and I'll just roll these over. Come in, put a little bit more salt and pepper on here, and that's it. Now some people make this, they make like a gremolade, which is they take the marrow, which is inside the bone. The veal shank has a big bone in the middle of it, and after it's cooked, it gets really, really soft, and it's considered a delicacy. So what I do is I remove it out. I take a little bit of lemon, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of parsley. I scoop that marrow out. I just put it in a dish and turn it around a little bit, and then I stuff it back in and put it back in the oven for a little bit. And it's phenomenal. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I love it. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to coat it real light in some flour, and then I'm going to have my little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil in there in my pan. And I'm just going to sear this real quick so it keeps it really tender inside as it cooks in the oven. Okay, so we are back. I'm going to take my veal shanks and I'm going to remove them from this dish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of wine in here, and I'm going to add my celery, about three celery, 3 things of celery, 3 carrots. I got about 4 cloves of garlic, which everybody knows I like garlic, so we'll put some garlic in here, and then I'm just going to put this back in here. I'll deglaze the pan a little bit, and I'm going to just let this simmer for about 5 minutes, stir it a little bit, as I said, to deglaze the pan. Then I'm going to add everything else. Then I'm going to add my tomatoes, my veal stock. I'll put the onions. Oh, geez, I forgot to put the onions in here. So we got to add some onions. Holy cow, that ain't going to work. So I'm going to put one small size onion that is coarsely chopped. Put that in there, and then we're done. And then we're going to put it back in there. Maybe a little dash of salt. And we're good. So we'll put this back on, 5 minutes. We'll come in, we'll put our tomatoes in, the rest of our veal stock, put my veal shanks in there, put it in the oven. I'm going to put a top on it, and this is going to be about 2.5 to 3 hours that it's going to take to make this. So it's going to be a little late dinner tonight. Alright, we'll be back. So, it is on like Donkey Kong. So what we got now is we're going to, after we sauteed our vegetables up here a little bit, I'm going to add my tomato, and I put the whole can in, pureed a little. Well, I don't puree it, but the puree that's actually in there. I will puree it later, about 60% of it. I'm going to add my veal stock in here. And then I'm going to put my veal shank in here. And that is it. It's already been seasoned. I seasoned the vegetables as they were cooking with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to, I really hate to say goodbye to this, but y'all know I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less either. So I'm going to put that back in. We are good to go. And we'll be back and we're going to have one of my favorite meals ever is Osso Bucco. See you in a little bit. I'm in a really good mood. And we're going to take this Osso Bucco out. Heavy. Wow. Take that out. I'm going to pull that marrow out of there. I probably could do it right in this pan, but I want to remove some of the stuff that's in there. So I'm going to take my sauce that's in here and I'm going to puree it. I'm going to put it in my little Cuisinart, actually maybe my blender, who knows, we'll see what happens. And I'm going to puree that. I'm going to take the marrow out of here. I'm going to put it in a little dish. I got some garlic, I got some parsley, and I have some lemon zest. I'm going to mix the marrow in with, you know, all that together, and I'm going to stuff it back in there. I'm going to put it in for about another 20 minutes, and then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to serve it. And we're done. So I'm going to work on pulling the marrow out, and I'll show you what it looks like in a little bit. See you soon. All right, so I've got all the marrow out of each one of the Osso Bucco, out of the veal shanks, and I put my garlic in here, a little parsley, a little lemon zest, and I just mix this really, really well and kind of almost like mash it. And then what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll carefully restuff it. Put it back in there, and this is grandioso, phenomenal. We're eating like kings. All right, so I got that done. Bailey, there you go. For you, buddy. For you. Bon appetito. My dog gets everything, what can I tell you? Then I'm going to take about 60% of my sauce that's in here, and I'm going to puree this. And how is that? Is that good? So I'm going to kind of cut you out now because there's no reason that you have to sit here and watch me do this. But I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to take this, I'm going to puree it, I'm going to put it back in here. I'm going to put my veal shank, hey, keep it down over there. Put the veal shank back in here, and I'll put it back in the oven for about another 15-20 minutes. I'm making a little, what am I making back there? A broccoli rabe. Make a little broccoli rabe with some pancetta and garlic. So we're having that tonight too. Okay? I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so we are done pureeing it. And, oh, baby. There is another God. Just kidding, actually there's only one God. Okay. Bailey, you are going to have a feast tonight. Because I know we're never going to eat all this. So I'm going to take my veal, carefully put it back in here. There we go. That's it. Put all this, call that the gold. The gold, baby, the gold. All right, so as you can see, I made a heck of a mess tonight, but it's okay because it's going to be phenomenal. So I'm going to put this in for about another 15-20 minutes. We'll take it out. In the meantime, I'm going to get my, I got my broccoli rabe. I need to do a little work with that. Pancetta's already fried up. Perfecto. That is so good. We'll be back in a little bit. Okay. Now to serve the gold. Oh, God. Let's see if we can drip some of that off. There we go. Put that over there. And our Osso Bucco is done. That is fantastic. Then, take a little bit of our broccoli rabe with some pancetta. There we go. And a little bit more pancetta on top. Bacon, you don't need bacon. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. Ouch. Hot. And we are finito. Done. This is my Osso Bucco. Some people make it with a Milanese, Osso Bucco Milanese. I do not. I'm not a, it's not my thing. I just like the Osso Bucco. Wanted a little something green, so made a little broccoli rabe. Usually I make it with sausage, but tonight, just a little bit of pancetta. So there you have it. Buon appetito. Thanks. See you soon.